The Valentine Mystery by Luke Solis. One day, Joseph was walking down the stairs, and he found a Valentine's Day card. It said, "To Joseph, from a secret friend." Joseph said, and began to think who the secret friend could be. The next day, Joseph found a clue. The clue said, "My name rhymes with had." He couldn't think of any names that rhymed with had. On the third day, Joseph found another clue. It said, "I love you." Who could it be? On the fourth day, Joseph found another clue. It said, "I live with you." Joseph thought he had an idea who his secret Valentine may be. Joseph figured out his secret Valentine. There was only one person whose name rhymed with had, lives with him, and loves him. His name is Dad. Dad was the best secret Valentine ever. Super Animals by Levi Klotz. A squirrel, cheetah, hawk, and elephant were having a party. It was the cheetah's birthday. There was cake and balloons and presents. They eat the cake. It's yummy, yummy. The elephant was so strong, he lifted the table. The squirrel was flying from tree to tree. The hawk cleaned his nest really fast. The animals will work together to fight bad guys. They are the Super Animals. The Ruby by Molina Wong. One day, Puppy and Kitten were playing with their owner, Lisa. They ran away from Lisa into the forest. They were on the hunt for a special jewel. This jewel was called the Magic Ruby. The Magic Ruby had the power to make the world more colorful. Puppy and Kitten stumbled upon a very colorful bush. They thought maybe the Magic Ruby could be near the bush. Puppy dug her way through the colorful bush and found the Magic Ruby. After they found the Magic Ruby, Puppy and Kitten ran back to Lisa. She was so surprised and happy when she saw her pets. Lisa's world was very colorful, thanks to Puppy and Kitten. My Big Brother Max by Tacy Say. Aaliyah wanted a big brother so bad, she wanted to name him Max. Aaliyah asked her mom if she could have a big brother. Mom told her she would have to find one on her own. Aaliyah's mom drove her everywhere looking for a big brother. Aaliyah found a big brother named Max walking on the sidewalk with his mom. She asked politely if he would be her big brother. He said yes, and that he was also looking for a little sister. Aaliyah and Max played together all day. They played with Legos, baked chocolate chip cookies, and went on a walk. Max was the best big brother ever, and Aaliyah was the best little sister. How Mom and I Saved Breakfast by Callum Morrison. This is a story about me and my mom solving problems. Problem number one is my mom thinks it's against the law to not eat breakfast. We used to eat a lot of eggs. We ate them every day. We were all sick of eggs. That was problem number two. Yuck! Problem number three was my mom needed me to spend more time with her. She missed me when I was at school. Black bananas solved our problems. One day, I told Mom the bananas were starting to turn colors. Mom told me to wash my hands. Mom told me to peel the bananas and mash them with a fork. We put them in a bowl with flour and eggs and butter and chocolate chips. We mixed and poured it into a bread pan and baked it. It was fun to crack eggs and mix and measure and stir. It was fun to hang out with Mom. The next day, we had my yummy banana bread for breakfast. Everyone cheered. Now my mom and I make lots of yummy breakfast foods together. We make apple pancakes, chocolate muffins, blueberry muffins, and banana bread. And that is how Mom and I saved breakfast. "9/11 Heroes by Sophie Lamping. Do you know how the two Twin Towers fell down? There were airplanes that crashed into them. The buildings fell to the ground, and there were a lot of people hurt. That day was a terrible day for many people. There were also a lot of heroes that day. People from all over had to come to the rescue of injured people. Police officers saved many lives on 9/11. They had to help people that were hurt. They helped people get out of danger and find their families. Police officers were very busy on that day. Paramedics were also heroes that day. Paramedics had to help people that were injured. They brought many people to hospitals and to safe areas. Firefighters saved lives too. Firefighters from many departments came to put out fires created from the crash and to help many hurt people. The firefighters worked long and hard to help everyone. I wasn't born yet when this terrible day happened, but I have learned all about this disaster from books and TV shows. I hope this never happens again, but if it does, I hope I can help others and be a hero too. Farm Friends by Carson Giroux. Every day, Jacob sat in his room and stared out the window. He lived near a farm and loved watching all the machines go in and out of the farmer's driveway. Jacob would watch the tractors and machines plant, harvest, and work the land. He always dreamt about being a farmer and how cool it would be to work on a farm. One day, while Jacob was looking out the window, someone rang his doorbell. Jacob answered the door. It was Carson, his neighbor who lived on the farm. The boys were about the same age and knew each other from school. Carson invited Jacob to come to the farm and go on a tractor ride. Jacob was so excited. From that day on, Jacob visited the farm more often and eventually worked with Carson on the farm. They became best friends and both enjoyed working on the farm so much. Years later, Carson and Jacob became partners and ran a successful farm business and made lots of money. My Chemistry Book by Pira Jordan. Hi, my name is Pira. I love chemistry. One day, when I was at Great-Grandma B's house on Thanksgiving, there was a toy chemistry set. I made a drink called the Drink of Drinks in a test tube. I put some orange juice, cranberry juice, ginger ale, root beer, and water together in the test tube. It tasted good. I got a science set for Christmas. It has a microscope, a pipette, test tubes, and a test tube holder. I felt so happy. I made the Drink of Drinks, too, in the kitchen at my house. I made limonade. I used limes instead of lemons. It turned out good. It tasted almost exactly just like lemonade. I borrowed books from the library. The books were a chemistry book, a science book, and an electricity book. I learned about the periodic table. The scientific names for the elements are so cool. One day, I got a chemistry set that has chemicals and instructions in it. The coolest thing that I made yet is invisible ink. I love chemistry so much. It's fun, and you get to see the reactions of the chemicals. I hope you love chemistry too. The Life of a Beginning Star by Avon Spawn. There once lived a girl named Pearl. She was amazing at rock climbing and drama. One morning, Pearl was awake in her kitchen with her mom and dad. Her sister Kaya was not awake yet. Pearl said she wanted to be in a movie. Pearl's mom and dad didn't think that was going to happen, but Pearl did. One night, Pearl was on her computer. Everyone was asleep. Pearl emailed a casting director a video of her winning the rock climbing championship. Clicking send was the last thing before falling asleep. Weeks passed and Pearl didn't get an answer. Then one night, Pearl checked if there was an email. There was! The email said Disney is making a movie about a girl rock climbing. Pearl's head was exploding. Yes, she thought. The next thing Pearl knew, she was off to Hollywood to make her movie. When Pearl got there was a lot of oh no's and what do we do's.
Oh no.
When a tall man walked in and said,
Don't worry, everybody. The director is okay, but I need Pearl Williams.
Pearl walked forward. I'm Pearl Williams, said Pearl. The tall man took Pearl into a bright room. Pearl could see a face in the light. He said,
Hello, Pearl. I want to see you climb.
Pearl looked up. She saw the biggest rock wall ever. Pearl passed the test. The movie was made. The end. Candy Fish by Olive Sue Stuffle. One water's day, there was a group of candy fish. The names of the candy fish were candy cornfish, popcorn fish, cookie fish, candy cane fish, bubblegum fish.
Let's go exploring in the underwater forest,
said Cookie Fish. After many adventures in the underwater forest, they saw someone in a mask that did not look friendly. The candy fish started swimming away, but the villain was as quick as a snake and caught Cookie Fish.
Oh no! He caught Cookie Fish!
The villain started swimming towards the shore. The rest of the candy fish raced after him, but the villain hopped out of the water and into his airplane. The plane started to zoom away, and the fish were worried about Cookie Fish. Luckily, they had a button in the water that transformed them into humans. So they pushed the button, transformed into human candy people, and hopped out of the water to save their friend. As they hopped out of the water, they grabbed a rope hanging out of the airplane. They climbed up the rope and inside the airplane, and in front of their faces was a huge tank with Cookie Fish swimming inside.
Are you okay?
Asked Popcorn.
Oh yes, I'm all right. I'm just stuck in this tank,
said Cookie Fish. Then the candy fish grabbed Cookie Fish and jumped out of the plane and into the water. They landed on the button that transformed them back into candy fish instead of humans. Back on the plane, the villain walked into the room with the empty fish tank. The villain was so mad that he crashed the plane into the water. The candy fish found the villain in the water and convinced him to be nice.
Will you be our friend?
Asked Candy Corn Fish. The villain was so happy to be saved from the crash. The candy fish used the magic button to turn the villain into a sprinkle fish, and they all became friends. Nigel, the Awesome Kid by Logan Jacobson. Hello, my name is Nigel. I'm an awesome kid. I live on Earth, but I pretend to live on the planet Mars. It's a hot and dangerous place to live. Let's go by my ship, and you can meet my sister Evie. Oh no, where's Evie? I lost her. I need to look for her. Let's get in my ship. Where could she be? I look all around my ship. I look in all her favorite places. I can't find her. I check in the places that she always wants to go. I always tell her that's too dangerous for her to go by herself. Let's check by the giant asteroid first. It is as big as a mountain. It takes me all day to search for her. I don't find her. In fact, I don't find anything. There is no life on this planet. So I check planet Earth. I find her. She sees me and runs away. I chase her until I come to a familiar place. It's my home. My family is there. It's dinner time. We all sit down and my sister tells me all about her adventure. The Pixel Pugs by Kian Ladd. I was inside playing video games when all of a sudden, I went outside to check and saw a huge, weird electrical cube. The GigaCube began to shake. The cube began to multiply into more cubes. They turned tan and brown. They began to join together. I thought to myself, what is going on? The cubes formed a body, and then another and another until the cubes created 23 giant pugs. These pugs look like adorable, cute, chubby pugs. The first thing I thought of is how I wanted to pet them. To trick them into coming inside, I tossed a bone into my room. Because they were so big, only 3 fit in my room. I turned on my PS4, and right away, one of the pugs rushed to me with 2 controllers, one for me and one for himself. I spent the rest of the day playing video games with my new pug friends. Finally, my mom said it was time for bed. I walked the pugs to the front door. All of a sudden, their cubes began to come apart. The cubes were drawn like a magnet to the GigaCube where they came from. Once all of the cubes were inside, I heard the loudest sound I had ever heard. I closed my eyes and covered my ears. In a flash, they were gone. Don't Do It by Megan Ingle. Once there was a boy who could do things that other people usually can't do. Lexi, Mackenzie, and Emily spotted the boy during one of his stunts and tried to stop him. They were unsure who this boy was, but knew they wanted to keep him safe. They first saw the boy when he was preparing to jump off a cliff. The three girls shouted, "Don't do it!" But he did it anyway. He landed on his feet and wasn't hurt at all. The girls quickly walked down the pathway to catch up to the mysterious boy. When they got there, he was nowhere to be found. "Where did he go?" Mackenzie said. "He's running across the highway." They yelled, Don't do it! The boy didn't listen, so the girls tried to run after him, but there were too many cars to cross. They didn't understand how he got across unharmed. "Now where did he go?" Emily sighed. They heard huffing and puffing coming from the north and moved in that direction. The girls heard him say,
I wanted to swim in the ocean with sharks.
"Don't do it!" the girls exclaimed, but he jumped in and swam safely with the sharks. Now the girls were really puzzled and they wanted to find out his secret. "We have to find him," they agreed. Right then they spotted footprints and decided to follow them. They led the girls back to the cliff where it looked like he was getting ready to jump again. Emily finally asked,
How are you doing all of these dangerous things without getting hurt?
I am a wizard.
he explained as he pulled a magical staff out of his pocket. He told them that he used it to cast a spell of protection around himself.
I do the stunts to make me strong and brave so I can protect people if danger comes.
He added. The girls decided they would be his friends and help him. They all secretly hoped that he would cast the same spell on them so they could do dangerous tricks too. The Mystery About a Girl Without a Face by Violet Unger. Hey, my name is Sasha. I live with my mom, dad, and twin Eve. I am just about to start the 2016 third grade class. I can't wait to see all of my friends. Let's get started. When I got to my awesome school, I went to the schoolyard with all my greatest friends. I saw someone mysterious. I went up super close. I saw she had no face. She had a body, head, and hair, but no face. I wonder. The next day I went to school and asked her some personal questions. 1, what's your family like? She didn't answer. I asked her another question, and she still didn't answer. It took me a minute to realize she couldn't speak. She had no mouth. Very different, I said. The day after that, I came back and investigated her desk. I could not find anything besides normal supplies. Could she just be a normal girl with no face? The day after that, I went back to school. When she went back to sharpen her pencil, I was waiting to sharpen mine too. I absolutely wanted to figure out the mystery. So I went in when she was sharpening her pencil and touched her face. It felt like rubber, like a mask. I touched it again. It was a mask. It was my twin Eve all along. She knew I loved mysteries. Well, we solved the mystery. Eve is a wonderful twin. I can't wait till the next mystery. The Crazy Day by Ella Kohlmeyer. Ring, ring, ring. My alarm bell just rang. I felt very funny. What happened to my hair, I thought to myself. It was up all funny and pointing in all directions. Maybe I should just go downstairs. I went downstairs. OMG! Mom, why are we having sardines for breakfast? Also, why are you guys dressed like that? My brother, my sister, and my dad were dressed like tigers.
We thought you would like it,
They said. I don't, I yelled. Then I went to school. Okay, why are the walls made of chocolate? What are you doing? I asked my teacher.
Just sunbathing.
She replied. Okay, what has happened to my life? I whispered, but nobody responded. Ugh. It's finally time to go home, I told my friend. I got in my mom's car. There was a soda machine in the front of the car, and I could smell and hear the fizzing soda. Mom, why was the gas replaced with soda? I yelled. I thought it was fun, Mom said. Once again, it's not, I answered. We finally got home. Okay, I said, I have had enough. Look around. The walls are made of chocolate and the floor is filled with gumdrops. We need to fix things, I said. My sister found a wand lying in the backyard and used it to change everything back. Good. Everything is back to normal, I said. Suddenly, I woke up. Oh, I realized it was all just a dream. Ella Owl Learns a Lesson by Emily Ohm. Ella the owl lived in the northern Kettle Moraine State Forest. Ella, who felt bored at home, decided to plan a trip. Ella found her camera and her pet bat named Natalie. She then said goodbye to her mom and dad.
Bye.
Ella and Natalie flew off to Green Bay during the night. When Ella and Natalie arrived in Green Bay, Ella took a picture of the sunrise. Getting tired, they fell asleep on top of Flambeau Field. Later that evening, Ella and Natalie woke from the cheers of Packer fans. A barn owl joined them to watch the game. The barn owl asked,
Who were you?
Ella said,
Hi, I'm Ella, and this is Natalie. Would you like to visit Dairy Queen and get a frog sundae?
After the game, they went to Dairy Queen. Ella, Natalie, and the barn owl talked until Ella said,
It was nice meeting you, but we plan to travel to Florida tonight. Bye.
Ella and Natalie flew to Florida through the night. Once they arrived, Ella took a picture of the sunrise. They decided to sleep in a palm tree, but they did not sleep long. A pink flamingo tapped Ella on the shoulder and startled her. The pink flamingo said,
Do you want breakfast? You look tired and I'm willing to share my breakfast.
While they ate, Ella thought of her parents and how they enjoyed breakfast together. She felt sad. The flamingo suggested that Ella and Natalie follow the whooping crane back to Wisconsin. The whooping crane, Ella, and Natalie flew through the night. The whooping crane said,
I have to keep going, but if you need a rest, I know a place to sleep.
Ella and Natalie were tired, so they landed in an abandoned nest. Through the darkness, Ella could sense movement. Then Ella saw her mom and dad. She gave her parents a big hug. Ella and Natalie shared the sunrise pictures. Ella told her parents,
Next time when I'm bored, I'll just read a book. I've learned my lesson. There is no place like home.
the end. Funding provided by EdVest. Special thanks to the Betty Bryn Children's Museum and the Kiwanis Club of Greater Milwaukee.